Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the year once again. It is time for the most prestigious tournament in the world of professional wrestling. The oldest and most recognized professional wrestling tournament in the United States. The East Coast Wrestling Association presents the 17th Annual Super 8 Tournament. Saturday, April 13th, 2013, Newark, Delaware, at the Greater Newark Boys and Girls Club. The annual ECWA Super 8 tournament started in 1997 and gave many of today's stars their first big break on the East Coast. This year's 8 competitors have the most to prove. The Heartkiller, Chris Wylde, is 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighs 195 pounds from Atlantic City, New Jersey. He has been a professional wrestler for 8 years and was trained by Jeff Rocker, Denny Steger, and Mark Harrow. Overcoming childhood asthma and being a teenage fan of the ECWA, Chris Wylde realized his dream and debuted for the ECWA at the 2010 Super 8 in July of 2010. Since that time, Wylde has only suffered 2 pinfall losses in singles competition in the ECWA. Wylde has held the Mid-Atlantic title, the TWA title, and the ECWA Unified Heavyweight title. He is also the first ECWA champion to defend his championship a record 4 times in a 5-week period. His finishing moves include boots to faces, 50 Shades of Pain, an acai DDT, and a Swanton Bomb.
Our next contest is scheduled once again for one fall into the second of our 4 quarterfinal matches. Your referee, Mr. Phil Sly. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing from Brooklyn, New York, weighing in at 198 pounds, he is former ECWA Tag Team Champion, Damian Dragon!
There's no difference between me and everyone else. All it takes is one bad day to produce the same thing I need to see. That's how far the world is from where I am. Just one bad day.
And his opponent from Atlantic City, New Jersey. He is a former ECWA Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Champion, a former ECWA, in fact, he was the first ECWA Unified World Heavyweight Champion. Please welcome, at 195 pounds, the Heartkiller, Chris Wylde!
Well, talk about a matchup that will pull at the heartstrings of the fans of the ECWA. In one corner, the man whose dream of 17 years is fulfilled tonight. In the other, a man who tried and failed once in 2010 to win this tournament and is back for a second bite at the apple. My God, what a second quarterfinal matchup. Damian Dragon and the Heartkiller, Chris Wylde.
As we mentioned in the very beginning of this event tonight, both of these men have some type of dream. One is redemption. One is finally achieving what he has dreamed of for 17 years, as you just mentioned. But look what happened just now when Damian Dragon came in to the ring. When he made his way through that curtain, he was wearing a red jacket. That red jacket is a sign of nostalgia, not only for him, but believe it or not, for me as well. See, that jacket on the back said Miyazaki Karate. That's the karate school that Damian Dragon went to back in Brooklyn and Queens, New York. 17 years ago, he was a member of that karate school, of that dojo. 17 years ago, he became a trainer in that dojo. His sensei is here tonight to hopefully, in Damian's eyes, in his wife and family's eyes, who are also here tonight, hopefully to see him achieve that dream tonight. He is going back to the roots of what brought him to professional wrestling. And he has absolutely nothing. Nothing is going to get in his way.
Well, except for the aspirations of the Heartkiller, Chris Wylde, the man who embodies resilience, who embodies resolve, who will not die. We saw him take Josh Daniels to the limit in a 30-minute Ironman match and come within a whisker of regaining the Unified Heavyweight Championship. I mean, this is what makes the Super 8 so difficult. And as you can see, early salvos here, both men trading holds, working on the left arm with the arm wringer. But this is the tough part of the Super 8. As you know, somewhere in the first round, there's going to be a matchup of two guys who the fans would really love to see win this thing. Only one of them is even going to see the semifinals.
Well, I mean, look at the split when both of these men came out, through the curtain. The crowd went crazy for Damian, and the crowd went just as crazy for Chris Wylde. There's really a split, especially in this match, which is why both of these men are going to try to get the crowd on their side for their momentum. And both of these men are going to achieve, but both of these men are also going to fail at it.
Hurricane Rana dragging to the floor. Wylde wanted to come to the outside. Now it's Dragon's turn. Suicide dive through the middle rope. And not to be forgotten in all of this is the man in stripes, the ignominious, oft criticized, very scrutinized Phil Sly, the official in charge. We'll see if that comes to play a role. Should not, we hope, in the Super 8 tournament. But just something to keep in the back of your mind.
Well, especially considering that Phil Sly, there has been a ridiculous amount of controversy. Considerable.
Oh my God! Not to interrupt, but a drop kick by Wylde as Dragon came off the top directly to the left knee of Damian Dragon.
There's been a considerable amount of controversy between Phil Sly and the group of Blackheart. Now, Damian Dragon's former tag team partner, Matt Saigon, is a member of Blackheart now, so it's bad enough that you have controversy as it is.
Nice senton into the corner by Wylde as he takes control of this contest.
Bad enough you have that controversy, but you got someone like Phil Sly who's been embroiled here in this controversy with Blackheart, and you got to wonder, is Blackheart going to show their faces in a match like this? Or which I don't know if they do, but somebody like Joel Blackheart, does he have enough respect for this tournament to tell his guys, you know what, stay in the back, let things play out as they may, and don't show your face?
We'll see if it comes to pass. Right now, the only thing passing is the sternum of Damian Dragon past his pectoral muscles at the hands of a very inventive submission by Chris Wylde, but Dragon wisely leaning back turns it into a pinning predicament, forcing Wylde to break the hold, but maybe paying the price in the form of that chop. And that drives him down. Cover, hooks the leg. This could be all. Only 2, says referee Sly.
And you have to know that the minute, if Chris Wylde were to win this match, or if Damian were to move on to the next round, but be defeated in the next round or the finals, the minute that happens, whether it's a submission and a tap, whether it's
Big boot to the side of the head by Dragon.
whether it's a 3 count, the minute that bell rings, not only is the match over, but it's a 17-year dream that comes crashing to the ground. Not only for Damian Dragon, but for all of his fans and his believers here tonight.
Gets a 2 count after that thunderous front drop kick to the face of Chris Wylde. Now he goes to work. And you know what's interesting? Obviously a lot of respect between these two men, but you pull no punches in Super 8. You could be facing your best friend, your brother, your mom for all I care. You're not taking it easy on anybody if the prize at the end of the road is the Super 8 trophy.
I mean, it's prestigious enough.
Northern Lights cover 2. Can't hold the bridge for a 3. Wylde kicks out.
It's prestigious enough to be named just to the ECWA, to be on the ECWA roster. It's more prestigious to have that medal around your neck to be named to the Super 8. But winning this tournament.
Oh my goodness! Super kick after a Cuban Missile Crisis. Cover 2, and Dragon kicks out at 2.5.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody travel the distance that Damian just traveled when Chris Wylde threw him into the middle
I have
turnbuckle.
only ever joked of that being a move and that being the name. I never thought I'd see it in a match. And now the Kata Hajime. But Dragon able to reverse. And the Kata Hajime once more. The move that finished the title reign of Papadon. Dragon rolls through again. What's he hooking up here?
Cloverleaf?
That's
That's like a modified Texas Cloverleaf.
Nifty modification on a Texas Cloverleaf. We'll call it a Dragon Leaf. Will Wylde submit? He powers up and hits the enziguri. What offense in the last 2 minutes of this contest.
I'm still shocked by that, by Chris Wylde using Damian Dragon as a javelin.
Wylde to the top. Oh, front face DDT even onto the knee. That could be it. 2, 3.
Ladies and gentlemen, 9 minutes, 41 seconds, advancing to the semifinal round, Damian Dragon.
Well, he took out Matt Saigon with a comparable move from the top using a chair around the head. Now he takes out Chris Wylde, catches him, leaping from the top and one-ups it, driving Wylde right into his knee. He gets the 3 count. Damian Dragon's dream lives on into the semifinals, but for Chris Wylde, you came in 10 minutes ago thinking you had a shot. You're going home, kid.
As the last stop on the Super 8 Express for Chris Wylde.
Wylde taking a moment here. And now, yes, he will finally shake the hand and an embrace between these two. A lot of respect between these two men. A tough pill to swallow for the Heartkiller Chris Wylde, but for these fans in Newark tonight,